All I'm offering is the truth.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want
Has a frequency.
You can't handle the truth.
Listen. They didn't expect you here.
All right. We are going live on Tuesdays. Something I'm trying out. It's the truth stream. We'll see what happens. I've been putting this off for quite a while. I've been trying to rebrand my channel, so to speak. A lot of people might know me from the carnivore space, but this is something a little different. I'm gonna start. I kind of went down the editing rabbit hole, and lots of stuff to say, especially being in Canada. So I figured I'm going to start a live stream and start talking about the things I want to talk about while I'm still allowed to, because I don't know if anybody else knows this, but Canada is going to hell in a handbasket quickly. And there's a lot of laws and censorship stuff that is that's presenting itself. So this is just a stream. This is a test run. We're going to see how it goes. I'm going to do this Tuesdays at 7:30. And I thought, why not just just do it now and do the first one and see how it goes. So hopefully this is from the ground up. We're going to see what happens. No one shows up. That's all that matters. It's all that matters is we're doing it. And I figured I'd just put everything on the table and get her done. So what is this truth stream, so to speak? Well, that's for what these are. All those things that we, that I want to talk about from, what's happened to me over the last few years, waking up, and man, is waking up hard to do. It's not to mention it hurts to heal. There's a lot of things in my life that have happened that I find, if you're looking for a place to chat, have it and talk about some of the things that's going on, the weirdness in the world. This is it. Let's do it. I'm gonna try and get everything organized to take, not only engage with the chat, but engage with you, questions and like stuff that's weird, all things weird. I'm talking like since I've kind of woken up, since I've started realizing the world is not what it seems. It's led me down some paths, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So, all things from UFOs to scripture, all these things that sort of I've been finding things aren't what they seem. And, it's kind of funny because you go walking through the world, talking to people and most people are just, they're unaware. And I know there's a big sort of awakening happening, and there's lots of people that are sort of waking up to the stuff, but I don't know, there's not too many people I can talk to about it. So I figured, hey, let's do a live. So, if you're here from the Food for Thought, this is my channel, but I am expanding. I'm going to go past the diet. I'm going to go into some of the stuff that, I think is pretty crazy. And today we've got some things lined up. A friend of mine sent me some things that were very, concerning. And we kind of like, you have half the world that thinks this is bullshit, half the world that knows it's not. And, there's some truths that we're going to seek out. And like, this is the truth stream. We're going to question everything. I have questions and I would love to answer them along with you. So this is going to be on Tuesday nights. We're going to just have a chat. We may listen to some different talks, different things that sort of come my way because, doing videos on YouTube and realizing that the editing side is a big deal. I cannot keep up with the technology. I am not AI. This is not, I'm just going to do this flying off the cuff, and we're going to, just see where this goes. So this is the first one. I figured let's just start. Let's just do it, and we'll see what happens. So if anybody's listening, thank you for being here. And we're just going to build this literally from the ground up. So in what I'm kind of been known for, like, this isn't the Meat of the Matter podcast. We do that on Sundays, and we talk all things health, nutrition. This is more to dive deep into weirdness, dive deep into the stuff that's not talked about. And I'm serious. I'm thinking nothing's off the table. From chemtrails to the Galactic Federation. There's things that have come past or come into my awareness that it's not things aren't what they seem. And I got sent some clips today from a friend of mine who's he's kind of a like-minded soul. He's woken up, or woke. I don't even want to use that word. That's just pathetic. He's waking up to this stuff, and we always kind of throw ideas around. And he put this on by me, and we're gonna look at this first, and just we'll get into some clips and talk about it. If anybody shows up, great. If they don't, catch me next week on Tuesdays. So I think Tuesdays was a great day to start. It just happened to be an alliteration, Tuesday Truth Stream. So we're gonna get into this first little clip.
This is not prophecy, but prediction. If this was predicted 27 years ago, somebody knew something. Okay, here's the list. This is an abbreviated list. I could have made it much longer. You know I can. I didn't. Okay, you ready for the list? Fast mutating viral disease pandemics. Genetically developed vaccine.
And I just got a lag here from my Instagram to the YouTube. So the chats. No, I'm not on Rumble. I might be, because we might have to be pushed into Canada. Is going crazy. So yeah, this is red pill time, buddy. Hello, Philip. How you doing, my man?
DNA database tracking. DNA chips. Get this one. 1997. Gene-based pharmaceuticals. Transmitting genetic instructions for a disease process. How about this one? You ready for it? Wait for it. Artificial intelligence to determine gene patterns. 27 years ago, who had heard about AI? Apparently they had. How about this one? Robots.
Do you notice how they said, like, especially in the medical industry, they're saying like that we're 20 years behind, and like all this adds up. I mean, everybody that's in denial that this stuff isn't happening. We're going to get more into the nanotechnology in a second, but just look at this. This is, these are predictions years ago, and I think the tinfoil hat in me says that these predictions might not have been predictions. They might have been actual things going on, and they just knew some deeper meanings.
For doing genome sequencing. And then, this one blew me away, using recombinant DNA for making spike proteins. 1997? It gets even worse. Smart homes. They have a whole chapter on smart homes / smart cities. This one will absolutely...
How the hell did they know about smart cities and smart things that far back, right? That's kind of a weird prediction. That's not even like, the dystopian, like smart homes, smart cities. I mean, to call them that even.
Floor you. It did me.
1997.
In 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. They predicted not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually. Come on. Nuclear devices causing widespread contamination, nanotech devices, this stuff was never even heard of, digital currency, and last but certainly not least, vaccination programs. I'm sorry, I got to chuckle, because if I don't, I'll cry. Vaccination programs run by organizations like the World Health Organization for a global killer that has yet to emerge.
Wow. I guess.
First printing, February 1997.
So 1997, they're they're predicting all this stuff. So, if we go deep down the rabbit hole, I don't believe they were predictions. I think they already knew those things. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think. Leave a comment. Tell me what your thoughts are on predictions, especially coming from who's predicting what. I don't buy it. I think they knew exactly what was going on, and this is what I've been sort of coming to realize is that I can't remember who I heard this from, but like Billy Carson was saying, like he made a good point, and he said like we have a 5-year plan or like a 5-year plan. Well, if you were in the business of global domination or global, they're like generations. They're planning in generations. They're going to have, there's a side of me that we may get into in future episodes about millennial plans. So, all the people that just don't believe this stuff, it's written, right? It's plain as day. Like this stuff is crazy and it's, I don't like everything. We take it with a grain of salt. Now, this gets into a little bit more of the nanotechnology that everybody's in denial of. Like, so whether you're the chemtrails, the graphene oxide, all this stuff pointing towards nanotechnology. And I've seen a few things on David Sinclair, which is funny enough. I can't really download the videos. I don't know why. He's pretty copywritten, I guess. But it's this stuff has been around and these ideas have been around for a long time. And later we've got some stuff that's proving it. And I'm going to share my screen and show you that this is all pre-planned. And for all the people that don't think this nanotechnology is real, come on, man. Like, we're living
Students
in a sci-fi
how to
movie here.
control these things with an This has always been a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist type topic. But if you look at where we're at today with the nanotech, we now know that this is conspiracy fact. There's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Ido Bachelet. In 2013, he gave a TED-Med talk in Israel. He's holding up a 1cc syringe and he's saying, I just brought this from my lab. And then the tip of this needle are 1,000 billion robots, 2,000 times the width of a human hair. Not only does he brag about these robots being in the syringe, talks about how it's a benefit to humanity. And I would agree with him in one aspect. Technology in and itself is not good or bad. It's who is in control of the technology. He also expresses to the audience how these nanorobots basically are designed to be controlled by computer code, various languages. And he teaches his students how to control these things with an Xbox controller.
Are they electronic components? How are they being powered? How are they keeping power?
They keep power through the piezoelectric effect. Our body naturally produces a certain amount of amperage. There's a thing called graphene oxide. It's the main component that allows these things to self-assemble, self-replicate, and they actually crawl.
So when this guy's presentation, whatever it was back whatever it is, they're already talking about this. They're already talking about this stuff. And then how would you try to put this into the world? Maybe spray it in the air, the graphene oxide, maybe? How would maybe come up with a fake remedy or I don't want to say it, but I guess whatever, the jabs, maybe put it in there. Like this has already been this guy, and I'm going to show a screenshot soon. This guy's been around for a long time working with Pfizer. Like this is the stuff that people, you better come to grips with what is happening. Cause like there is a big divide, and I'm kind of on the Greg Braden page, but we're losing our divinity. We're losing our humanness. And, it's all a play, man. This is all a play.
Cross the blood-brain barrier. They can actually be programmed to carry a payload so that if you send a certain RF emission to them, they'll open up and release whatever payload's in them.
Are you not entertained?
So, right there, they said that there's this guy. He came up with this nanotechnology back in whatever. I'm going to show you something about with 2000. Well, I'll do it right now, actually. Let's add this. Hold on here. Let's add the screen. And I looked at this guy, Ido Bachelet. I did a little. I searched him, and no, hold on here. Sharing screen, and you can see. Hopefully you can see this. This guy was talking about this stuff in 2014, 12 years ago, like Inside the Body's Future, 2015, transhumanist, like this is crazy. So back in the day, he was already talking about this stuff. Now, this is, I don't know if you can see it with a ticker. Let me take that off here. See this? 2015, Pfizer partnering with Ido Bachelet on DNA nanorobots. 2015. Okay? So if that's happening, what do you think is going on? Like how how are we partnering with Pfizer? Nanorobots DNA 2015. So right there, that is so frightening. And when people start talking about this stuff, like they're like, whatever, it's not bullshit. Like this is insane. So what getting the graphene oxide by whatever means necessary seems to be the it's happening, right? If you don't think it's happening, come on, man, you're naive. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately, that's the way our world is headed, and I want to be on that side of it, man. I want to be true to my humanness and just keep being a human. God forbid, especially in Canada. Come on, man. So now. There's a guy that I've listened to quite often, and his name's Dr. Jack Cruz. And you may like him, you may not. He's a bit of a dick. He talks bluntly. He attacked one of my peeps, Dr. Sean Baker. I wasn't too impressed about that. And he said, the diet is only one thing, but he insulted him. I didn't like it, but his story on how he came to know this stuff, on how deep this stuff runs, is fascinating. He was like a medical, doing his internship or his residency in the University of Louisiana or somewhere, LSU or something. And he came across a bunch of stuff that's tied to the CIA, MK Ultra, all this stuff. And when he talked about what I'm going to play next, it's crazy how it's tied into this. And when I heard this clip, this kind of tears me two ways. It tears me into the viral bullshit, but also there's a YouTube channel, Dr. Sam Bailey. She questions the viruses and she questions it all. But when you hear Jack Cruz's explanation of this SV40 virus, it's and he said how it all like kind of came into fruition with the polio vaccine. Then I saw this clip today, and all these patterns, they sort of line up, which is frightening. So we'll look at this.
Particle accelerator to make it more aggressive, and they would keep going in a circle.
Sorry.
There's a situation. I consider myself a bit of a medical historian, and I happen to know that there was a situation in the 1960s where simian virus 40, SV40, a cancer-promoting virus called the perfect war machine by one of the world's experts, that this virus was taken from the polio vaccine, because that's where the scientists had to get it from, because humanity was being injected with it alongside a lot of other things. And they literally took this virus and they irradiated it in a gain-of-function experiment to make it more carcinogenic. And then they would put it in animals, take those tumors, put the tumors in a blender, take them to the lab, irradiate it with a linear particle accelerator to make it more aggressive, and they would keep going in a circle until they got the maximum killing capacity out of this virus. So this was gain-of-function stuff going on in the 1960s under the guise of killing Fidel Castro. Okay. Well, it was never used to kill Fidel Castro. It was turned over to...
And funny enough, when Jack Cruz was telling his story, like maybe I'll try and find the link of this, and it was about a Bitcoin. It was about his preaching Bitcoin, but he told the story like way back when, and how it all tied to Lee Harvey Oswald. It tied into Fidel Castro, the CIA, the polio vaccine, and it was like his story was so wild that you're just like, you got to be kidding me. Like how this is all orchestrated and planned, and how it comes into fruition now. And then what she's talking about, how this is what they're doing. And this SV40 apparently is in the spike protein. I don't know exactly what, but this is where these light bulbs start going off. Like I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be something to this, because this adds up. Like this is crazy.
To MD Anderson, and the technology supposedly disappeared, and then boom, we end up with SV40 in the plasmid in our vaccines in 2020. 21.
Yeah,
So it's like it's just been going on for a long time. And if we wouldn't know this, if there wasn't one survivor that is still around with us named Judith Barry Baker, who is able to tell the story because she was there. Everybody else was either killed. Actually, everybody was killed pretty much within a year of this.
That's not suspicious at all, is it? Like, no, all these people disappear. They're unalived, from the 0 point energy to alternative power, Tesla, right? Like, I mean, he got excommunicated. He got, if he was even real. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But, there's some theories out there. And, if you just, like, getting back to the Jack Cruz interview that I saw, he was in detail telling you how this all came to play, and all these things lined up. He tied it into the mob. He tied it into, what they were doing as far as like the Kennedy assassination. There is so many things that it blew my mind. And I just watched this because I know Jack Cruz is very big on light and light hygiene, and how he thinks light is the secret to health. And, food doesn't really have much to do with it. In his opinion, I think there's probably a good combination of both. I 100% believe in light and frequency and vibration and all that stuff. But when he was talking about this SV40 virus being from the polio, and how this all came to be, and how people started disappearing, and how he had these machines that were like showed up in the hospital that were like nuclear particle accelerators and whatnot, it's so hard to believe. But the details that he was like almost in chronological order, like there is no way, like tying all these things in together, and how the world was working towards. Funny enough, Philip mentioned World War II, going towards this stuff after World War II. It's wild. And if you want to talk about this kind of stuff, is it so crazy that this is actually happening and happened? So pay attention, because this is we all just gave our liberties, gave our freedoms away blindly. And when you trace the story back to what this shit is, it is completely horrific. It's horrific. Jonathan, what's going on, my man? Thanks for showing up. We're talking about some weird shit.
Except for one guy, the guy at the head of it. So anyway, it's an amazing story, and it's one of the things I'll be talking about at CHD this weekend. But this whole gain of function thing is again, it's not new. And if they were to admit that they took, a carcinogenic virus from the animal kingdom and then made it.
Oh no, it was a wet market. Oh no, there was no research going on, Senator. No, I did nothing. Bullshit. And all you have to do is just go and do the history. Go through history and look at how the OSS, I believe, became the CIA, and how these organizations started. DARPA, holy crap. And then you wonder why they smear people, and why they blacklist people, and why they unalive people. Like, it is crazy, man. And this SV40, like, I mean, I don't know if you support the germ or terrain theory. Like I mentioned before, Sam Bailey has some compelling videos on her channel about the viruses not being real. But all I know is that there's something is, because they've been doing this shit and it's documented, and this is all open source, so you can find this stuff out. And the SV40 spike whatever they did to make the spike protein, and what the craziest thing that I'm gonna just say it, because during the pandemic, and I was like, I kind of woke up. That was my awakening. And when all this stuff was happening, I was like, no way, this is going in my body. That was my first big alert, was like, I don't know what the hell, why, maybe it was divine intervention, something like that. I was like, not going to do this. I was just getting through my health my health was coming, like I was getting into a groove. And then I just had this feeling, like, I don't know about you guys, let me know if you had that feeling, but the feeling was not to do this. And that was it. And I lost my relationship. I lost my family because of it, because I made a decision and they were so against my decision that it basically caused a rift that was irreparable. And, you know, I'm not looking for sympathy here. It is what it is. And my life has gone in a great way since then. But now learning about this stuff and tracing it back, I saw a thing, and his name's Dr. Brian Artist. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but fascinating stuff. Well, it's like he did some research and found out that this is snake venom. And in first thought, you're like, what? But then the way his interview on, I believe it's called The Antidote, and it's on TV. I think it might be behind a paywall, but like I think you can get a trial. But go check it. It's 3 hours long, and he details his journey from his father-in-law in the hospital and getting remdesivir, and how he got kicked out of the hospital. Did research into remdesivir and this whole bullshit. Then went into really, really studying what happened during this, and he said it was snake venom, basically. And the antidote is nicotine. So this is nuts. I know you're probably like, what the hell? Listen, go, especially if you got one of those things, go and check it out. Dr. Brian Artist. It's called The Antidote on Unified TV. Take the time, 3 hours, and listen to this story, and you will see that he's not nuts. He's not a freak. And is it possible? So getting back to the clip we're watching, the SV40 virus, simian, whatever it is, but SV. Isn't it a coincidence that it's SV40? Could it be, instead of the viral thing, could it be venom? Like, this is what blows my mind, man. And I'm like sitting here going, what? There's no coincidences. Okay. Like one thing I've found, especially digging into the conspiracy stuff, into the side, there is no coincidences. SV40. Now, whatever you want to call it, Dr. Artist is saying that they're contaminating us with snake venom. This thing's been around since the polio vaccine, and the research and the gain of function stuff. If it's not a virus, what is it? So you know what? Like I'm on both sides, because I watched the Sam Bailey stuff, and I agree with Jonathan. Like it's like there's so many, there's so much gray area, and this is the stuff that like blows my mind, because when I'm saying we're getting into we can't handle the truth. Can we really handle the truth? Because I think the way it leads us is so crazy, and I'm like, nothing now is off the table. Nothing. So I got into this place from nutrition. I was like, how can we be so? You can argue with me. I don't care. It's not about. I just, in my truth, found out we were so wrong about nutrition, and this opened up my eyes to everything, to religion, to ancient history, to like philosophy, physics. Everything is not what it seems. And we're going to get into this in some future episodes, but I mean, actually a guy that follows us on our Meat of the Matter podcast, Lambs, maybe he'll show up one day here, but he led me to my lunch break. And if you've never checked out my lunch break, this was another thing that just opened my eyes. And I binge watched this channel for probably 2 weeks, literally. And it goes into all these buildings, these cathedrals, these ancient, not just the pyramids that we have questions, like, because they're not tombs. All right. That's I can probably put my life on the fact that they are not tombs. Yet all these buildings, where did they come from? Now you're looking at the US, and they're looking at this point in time with like 1776 and the 1800s. You have like these buildings in Wisconsin that had the population of 2,000 that are like ancient Greek palaces. And it's like, how did they build these? And they're everywhere, all over the world. You want to look at Constantinople and Istanbul, these giant mosques that were like, and then it's pretty crazy. So all I know is that the stuff is not what it seems. And that's why I want to dig into this stuff and get into the truth, get into the not being the truth. And, I do believe this because I looked at, when I lost my faith in the modern medical system, I was like, well, what happened? And you can get into the Rockefellers, and we'll probably do a little bit of that on this show. But it's not the Rockefellers, they rock the world. And if they're doing that, from petroleum chemicals to the pharmaceuticals and all this stuff, is it possible? Is it possible that this was preconceived 1,000 years ago? So I'm looking at all this stuff going, what? Come on now. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm going to give you an example. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Who said that? Well, it was John Harvey Kellogg trying to sell cereal. Had nothing to do with you need energy in the morning. And if we just know that, well, what else do we say is bullshit? So is it possible that they're poisoning us in our water? Possible, right? You know what I mean? They're capable of doing anything. And now my humanness is on big defense. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get to some different opinions, different thoughts. And it's mind-blowing how everything in my life has been shaken upside down. And now it seems like the more I think I know, the more questions I ask, the less I know for sure. Just like that David Icke quote. And anybody who thinks David Icke is it sounds so far-fetched, but is it possible? And that's what I'm starting to learn. As everything that you dig into is nuts. And nothing is what it seems. And it can be horrifying. And let alone trying to speak this in public. That's why we're here. So let's finish this one. And then I got one more to get into today. And we'll see how it goes.
They made it more aggressive and mass distributed it into humanity by accident, and then afterwards did this gain of function thing. And we watched the cancer rates rise at that point. Everybody knew somebody that got cancer, right? Exactly. Within 20 years of the whole mass vaccination program of the 1950s and 60s.
Right.
So you know what? It is definitely possible that someone made a plan centuries ago. And now if we look at the agrarian revolution, this is crazy because, some people might think I'm batshit crazy for saying this, but was that planned? Like, where did wheat come from? What, someone walking down through a grassy field said, that looks delicious. Let's plant it. Let's cultivate it. Or, they're saying that it was brought from the gods, possibly the Anunnaki, and alien. That could make sense. Let's give these humans, these pets, these slaves some food and make them rely on it. It's a pretty good trick, and it's a pretty good deception. I mean, if you look at what that does, and it's clear now that it's ridiculous to think that 40% of your diet should be something that's never been part of the human diet in history until a certain point. And then it came into me. Well, that certain point, I want to question. I'm questioning that point. So if we're looking at it from the wrong perspective. We're looking at it of, we need. What if we've been told we need? And it's pretty crazy, right? Jonathan, you got it, man. Like all these diseases, we just look at things like from a modern day perspective. Well, they've hijacked our modern perspective. They've completely hijacked our medical system. They've completely hijacked the mainstream media. What do you think do you think we're thinking genuine thoughts? And that's where I wake up every day. I'm like, is this me? And that sounds crazy, but it's true. I think about this stuff and I go, okay, let's be the observer. Let's look at this and take it for what it is. If there is nanotechnology, it's clear. It's documented. We just saw that before. Is it possible that they're using it already? Of course it is. Is it possible that they're spraying it up in our atmosphere? Is it possible that 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G are all going towards transhumanism? Is it possible that they're confusing the shit out of everybody to make them think that they're not men and not women? It's possible. Because I don't put it past anybody. Now, if you look at how many people that have these alternative theories and alternative uh, blessings for humanity get unalived, it's fascinating. And that's not. We're going to get into this in a future episode because there's a DJ, an old DJ. He's doing like some talks now. His name's Mark Devlin. If you haven't heard of him, check him out. Mark Devlin is insane. He's putting all everything that we thought about the music industry, hippies, commercialized bullshit is completely orchestrated, and he pretty much proves it. He pretty much nails it. From everybody that we think we idolize was there for a reason. Now, how deep do we want to go? This is what I leave to you guys. On Tuesdays, we're going fucking deep, and we're going to get into some of the stuff that is so crazy it just might be true. Now, another thing we're gonna scratch on too is we're gonna scratch into some politics because politics, I don't like it, and they force me to become political because, not to mention, my country is ridiculous. I mean, I'm actually listening to the Parliament debates now in Parliament, and I just want to like rip my head off because it's so frustrating. Like, wake up, Canada! Come on, Jesus. Anyway, but the politics with Donald Trump, when he was getting elected, look what he was getting elected on. Look at the movement. Everybody was behind this. And I'm not for Trump, against Trump, whatever. I obviously I wasn't at the time. We need something to happen. Like, I was happy that we got a change. And, coming from the Canadian perspective, no, Donald Trump is not, like, man, we've got way more bigger issues to worry about than just, that's what every Canadian will say, that Donald Trump is gonna rip Canada apart. Like, right now, I wouldn't mind being the 51st state, to be honest with you. But if you look at what and this is something that David Icke says quite a bit, is you don't look at what's happening. Look at the end game. What would be the end game? Now, if you can imagine what an end game would be, you can sort of see things a little bit more clear. Like, these are a fork in the road that lead to the same direction. Now, if that direction was to rally the people, yeah, or was that direction to make AI and transhumanism the ultimate goal? Elon Musk is the savior, apparently. The guy wants to chip your brain. The guy is putting satellites up in space. What does he benefit from being the champion of free speech? You're allowed to say that you're going to chip my brain? Like, it's so in my opinion, we have to be careful. We have to be very careful about who's going to be the savior, because I don't think any of them are saviors. I think we can only save ourselves, and the way to do that is to talk about it and to be real and honest and not shocked about it. But the next thing we're going to get into is this AI domination. Like, look at where it's going. And if everybody's on this green agenda, do you understand how much power is required for all these data centers? Like, think about it. Where do you get your Tesla power from, man? You plug it into the wall. Where does that power come from? It's mind blowing. I saw this interview once where someone was saying how great these electric cars are, and the guy was like, "Okay, yeah, okay, they're great, yeah." And then eventually he's like, "Well, where do you get the power from?" And it's plugged into the warehouse wall. That's getting the power from the coal factor, or the coal plant down the road. Like, what? Just think about this stuff. Anyway, so this shift in the stuff is all leading to chipping your brain, not having us think, and stripping away our right to be human. And I mean, hey, some people might really like that. They might think that a chip in the brain is a great idea. And hey, they're going to pitch it hard, man. They're going to pitch it on the blind. They're going to pitch it on, the people that are suffering, and they're going to pitch it to them to say that this is God sent. This is what we need. And then what do you think happens? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. We all heard. So, Spider-Man, I got him on my arm. With great power comes great responsibility. Well, I'm screaming back because I'm not buying it. I don't want to be chipped. I want clean water. I want real food. I want to be as close to God and Mother Nature as I can be. Whatever God that is for you, you need to be close to him. Close to him. You need to start thinking about this stuff because they're coming for us. And unfortunately, that's where the world is right now. So now, what was all these executive orders that Trump made that said, and he's like, okay, we're going to do this. Great. All these great things. But then the next, I don't know, maybe it was that day or the next day, he had all those AI people in the Oval Office or whatever, and just said, and it was like, ching, that's the play. That's the David Icke craziness that just comes back to he was right there. I knew that there was something really like crazy going on. So it's all distractions. And I think Jonathan pointed out before, it's a distraction. The left, the right, it doesn't exist. They're all trying to divide us in every way, shape, or form, thinking we're crazy because we're trying to think. Simple. We're trying to think. God forbid we're thinking. And all through history, every single time, somebody has something profound or game-changing that's not part of that mainstream agenda, if you will. What do you think happens to them? What do you think happens? Do you think these are all accidents? I don't think John Lennon was an accident. I don't think Martin Luther King was, by saying an accident, I don't think it was a coincidence that it happened. Meaning, it was probably calculated. Now look in the modern times. I'm not going to comment on the Charlie Kirk stuff. But all I will say is there's stuff we are not being told about it. And I think there's a narrative to push you either from there to there, or it started from, and we can look at false flags, all of this stuff. And someone mentioned in the Instagram chat about World War II. World War II! We won the war, right? Okay. You know what? That is something we're going to dive into in another day, but I've been doing some reading and I've been doing some learning. Just explain to me Operation High Jump then. Explain to me this. Admiral Byrd in Antarctica. Why can't we go to Antarctica? Google Earth, go try. You can't even do that. Why? What's going on? That's crazy. That's just nuts. So, all the world gets together. We can't decide on anything, or, we hate each other, but yet Antarctica is, every country in the world signs a treaty that says we can't go there. That's kind of weird. I think that's something to be looked into, and we will do in future episodes. But anyway, getting back to the AI thing, I got, my girl sent me this clip today, and we get into it from time to time, and I find it very fascinating. So let's call this guy.
Where he was. Why is Larry Ellison trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery? He just bought Paramount. Why does he want media companies? Why would he? He wants to hang out with movie stars? No. He has a fucking ego problem? What does he do now? He runs the largest data storage and processing company? Why? Well, before founding his company called Oracle, he worked on a project for the CIA called Oracle, where he was paid to build a database for the government. And so he probably has and knows how to get data on all of us. Good. I don't get how.
And that's the guy that was in like the first announcement, the biggest AI in history. They want to put mRNA for cancer. This is where we're headed. And he's a big part of it. And I think he might even be the richest man in the world right now. I don't know. Let me know if you guys know, but this is frightening.
This is all somehow connected. You just said it's connected, so you must know. He also wants mass surveillance. He said citizens will be on their best behavior because we'll be recording and reporting everything that's going on. And he also said the government should consolidate all of the national data and feed it to AI. And all of this is connected how? I don't really know. It's in your head. You just have to find it. What does this have to do with owning an entertainment company? You already said it's connected. Just tell me how. Well, his data centers are the ones that OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, relies on. And if he owns the data centers, No matter what AI company pulls ahead, he'll have control.
You know what that sounds like? I just watched a thing on the Rockefellers. So the Rockefellers, yeah, he was drilling oil, but he realized that it was the barrels, the railway, it was all the middle that he cut out, he bought, so he controlled everything, and then he could squeeze out his competition. Interesting. Sound familiar? History repeats itself. And if you look at this guy, man, like, come on, look at Larry Ellis. I'm sorry, man, but we're gonna get into this too. We'll get into aliens. We'll get into reptiles. I don't know. Shapeshifter doesn't look human to me. He's pretty old and he looks very like there's something behind his eyes. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but let me know in the chats or in the comments of what you think about Larry Ellison. Yeah, that guy.
Over where it's all stored. So he's put himself in a position that even when the AI bubble bursts, he'll succeed no matter what. And so he's buying media companies so that he can create AI-generated content. Good. But what if no one watches it? You think he hasn't thought of that? The TikTok deal? Why? He's reported to be that leader of the group of investors making a bid to buy TikTok. More? Well, he also...
Does that sound familiar? Think about all these monopolies. Think about all these, tech giants. Not to mention, going right back to Jack Cruz, what he, with MK Ultra, he ties in Silicon Valley to all of this stuff. This is all planned. And, woo! Not bad for a test run, guys, today. Oof.
So has the data to do hyper-targeting so that people get a tailored algorithm of AI content. And so it's about control. He wants to control the information we get through AI, the media we see. It won't be entertainment, though, will it? It will be propaganda that looks like entertainment. Good. And so while everyone's focusing on what the administration's doing, Larry Ellison is quietly building this empire. The worst kings are quiet.
There you go. Way to go, Larry. Look at this. Like these data centers are insane. So, you know what? What do you believe? What do you think? Do you think this is all just coincidence? Do you think this is all a big play? Do you think this is all carefully orchestrated, tactfully preordained by the global elites? I want to know, because we're going to get into some stuff. This truth stream on Tuesdays is going to be, while I'm allowed to do it, because I got to speak out against this stuff, because it doesn't stop. And every page, every road I go down, every rabbit hole just leads to a bunch of like WTFs. And we're gonna keep bringing this. And I'd love to get everybody involved talking about this. If you have stuff that you want to say or you want to talk about, I don't care how wild it is. Let's get into it. I want to get into this craziness. And we've only scratched the surface. We're going to get into some wild stuff that I think, there's no coincidences. This is a wild time to be alive. Something's happening. We're waking up, and I'm happy to be waking up. It is hard to do because there's so much craziness out here. So we're going to talk some books. We're going to talk some history. We'll talk some things. Why not? We'll just seek the truth together. We're going to do this every Tuesday. Thanks, Jonathan, Philip, you guys. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up, but we're just going to start building this from the ground up. And hopefully I'll get a Discord together and get some things in the future. But for right now, Thelma's looking at me. We need to eat. We need to go have a steak. Thanks for being here, everybody. Don't forget, the Meat of the Matter podcast is on Sundays. That's where we talk about health, nutrition, coming from the carnivore perspective. But we want people to start coming on to that too. And also, if you want to hear real people talk real stuff, the carnivore community as well. So thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next Tuesday. And of course, on my channel. Take care, everybody.